Hey everyone, in this video we are going to find the cosine of theta based on the given information. So we are aware that theta is going to be an angle that terminates in quadrant 2 and that the tangent of theta, or the ratio of the opposite to the adjacent, will be 8:3. That negative could go to the 8 or the 3, and we use context clues and all the other details to figure out exactly where the negative goes. So if it were tangent or cotangent, we don't know where the negative goes, but if it were cosine, sine, secant, or cosecant, we know it's going to go with the non-hypotenuse. But since with tangent, neither side is the hypotenuse, we have a little bit more mystery. So let's get started, and we're going to start by drawing quadrant 2. That means I need to draw the positive y-axis, not my best drawing, and the negative x-axis. We're going to put a point randomly in there in quadrant 2. I'm going to connect it to the origin. That represents my terminal side. I'm going to drop an altitude or drop a perpendicular from the random point on my terminal side to the x-axis that is nearest. My theta, or reference angle, will go between the terminal side or hypotenuse and the nearest x-axis right there. The angle right here, we can kind of draw in a little A. That A means one of these two sides it touches is the adjacent. It's not what it means, but it's a little trick. And then if you take that A apart like this, it's going to look like an H, so the other one's the hypotenuse. So there's your hypotenuse, there's your adjacent, there is your opposite. We're doing great. This side here, the adjacent will be negative because it's left. The opposite will be positive because it's going up. The hypotenuse will be positive because it's always positive, okay? Opposite over adjacent, now we have my bracelet keeps getting caught. We have that tangent is 8/3, so TOA, opposite over adjacent. So opposite corresponds with the 8 or correlates to the 8, and the adjacent is correlating with the 3. So that means this side, the 3, is what we're going to think of, and that this side, the 8, is what we're going to think of. Now, which of these should I give the negative symbol or sign to? We're going to give the negative to the, that's a little too close, sorry, -3 right there. Now, are 3 and 8 the legs of a Pythagorean triple, 3, 8 something? Unfortunately, not. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. -3 squared, which if it's a negative, you really don't need to even worry about it. Just do it as if it were positive. But if you put it in, you would put it in parentheses and the square would be on the outside, and that would give you a positive 9. 8 squared, if you wanted parentheses, you could think of it like that, equals hypotenuse squared. 9 plus 64, hypotenuse squared. 64 plus 10 would be 74, so 64 plus 9 is 73. Is hypotenuse squared. That means if I take the hypotenuse, the square root of both sides, we get radical 73. So the hypotenuse is radical 73 right here. Nothing I can really do to simplify or clean that up much at all. And I want to find now the cosine of theta. So let's just take a moment to redraw this a little bit nicer, cleaned up. There's theta, right angle, -3, 8, and the square root of 73. Cosine, so cot𝜃, is equal to the adjacent over hypotenuse. That means that cosine of theta is going to equal, well, what's the adjacent? -3 over hypotenuse, which is root 73. Now, we never leave an answer, especially when we're doing trig. We never, ever, ever leave an answer. I'm just going to go over here, I guess. I don't know why I squashed myself in that corner, with a radical in your denominator. So if you rationalize, this is hopefully not something I need to explain to people, you will get an answer of -3 radical 73, that's the 73, over 73. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So if you were able to do that example all on your own, you are fantastic. Give yourself a big, wonderful high five. If you have any other tips, advice, questions, share them in the comment section below the video. I'm sure people will appreciate it if they need the tips, or they also, feel that they can answer your question. If you feel good about this and you don't think you need to watch this video again, if you stumble upon it, you can go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and mark it as in your good list. And if you're not feeling that great, you might want to mark it with a thumbs down. I don't think it's a bad idea to mark some of these with thumbs down because these are the most commonly forgotten examples of pre-calculus and trigonometry, if you ask me. So I hope you are feeling a little bit smarter. Click through for the next example, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.